Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I say evening. We're running a little later today. Normally we do the podcast in the morning. Welcome TikTok Live, people. And welcome to the Project Investigation Collaboration Podcast, the collaboratory podcast between our gracious host, founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Curtis.
Hello.
And myself, investigator Todd Boyer. And welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
And I did want to thank the people that follow me and supported me this week on a TikTok Live. I had a charity event that I was their spokesperson for the charity for the weekend, and Bob came in and supported me, and all my TikTok followers came in on the live and supported me, and I want to thank all you guys for supporting me and supporting that charity this weekend.
Yeah.
So what is our topic for this evening, Bob?
Conspiracy theories around Antarctica.
Conspiracy theories around Antarctica. Now, I know the last time I checked, if you tried to look at a map, like a satellite map of Antarctica, it was blacked out.
A lot of it is, yeah.
So,
or it's old.
yeah.
Because it takes them like 2 or 3 years before they release the image to Google. So the image that you look at is from a long time ago.
So what are they hiding up there? That's the question.
Oh, all it depends. This is a deep rabbit hole. So it depends on whatever it is that you're into as far as like conspiracy theories and the paranormal. It's going on down there.
Yeah.
So,
like,
everything from
you name it.
UFOs to Nazis to government cover-ups to ghosts, cryptids, everything you can think of is going on down there.
So we pulled up 10 of the most common conspiracy theories down there.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with the Nazis, or do you want to start with the extraterrestrial base? Where do you go? We're like here and here, you know.
Right.
So
let me move the mouse over here.
Yeah, we are like total ends of the spectrum. You know. Let's start. We can start World War II.
With
So they believe that there was a Nazi base in Antarctica,
right.
According to this theory, that the Nazis actually sent an expedition to Antarctica about 1938, 1939-ish to establish a secret base known as Base 211, and or the new Swabia base.
New Schwabenland.
Yeah, Swabia. New Schwabenland.
Yeah.
So basically, the purpose of the base was to develop advanced weaponry and technology,
Right.
Potentially including flying saucers. Because I don't know if you guys knew it, but you know, I know Bob knows it. Like Hitler was crazy into paranormal and like afterlife, and anything that he could do to win the war, he was into.
Yeah.
Like you name it, he was into it.
Big time.
And spent lots of troops and lots of scientists to try to develop technologies and he like
investigating mythology and everything. He had like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he tried in that story they tried to recover the Ark of the Covenant. Well, he actually did try to recover the spear of Longinus, the spear that pierced Christ's side. So yeah, he was really into that stuff, and they thought that because Antarctica is so far away from the civilization at the time, and it was so remote, that you could test advanced weaponry and not have to worry about somebody, stealing your idea.
Right.
So that's where they tested the bell. That's where they tested their time travel theory, the anti-gravity ships, everything that they had, their sonic weaponry, all of their super top secret weapons. The conspiracy theory is anyway.
Right. That was their super top secret base.
Right. That was their Area 51 down there.
Why is Bob cut off? Is Bob cut off? Is he just leaning too far over?
I don't know.
We'll catch Bob. We'll get Bob. Maybe Bob's leaning too far over. The mouse. There we go. Now Bob's not cut off. Why is Bob cut off?
Yeah, the prevailing theory is that after World War II, when the Germany was falling, that the Nazis and some of their sympathizers, like in Argentina and places like that, took all of their top scientists that they didn't want to get, arrested or sent to Nuremberg or whatever, they sent them all to this base in Antarctica, and that's why they never turned up. The prevailing science behind it is that they, killed all those people.
Right.
They unalived all of those scientists because they didn't want them to fall into Western hands.
Right.
But the conspiracy theory is that they put them all on ships and took them to Antarctica to hide into some new base.
Right. So then next you got the hollow Earth theory, where it's believed that a lot of the underneath the crust of the Earth is hollow, and that is a substantial doorway into the Earth. It's down in Antarctica.
That there's a somebody got their comment hidden. Yeah, but the hollow Earth theory.
Robin says we're too far apart.
The crust.
I'll get closer to Bob. All right.
The Earth's crust is where we live. On the other side of that mantle is basically another Earth that a whole different universe of animals and things live in. So there's dinosaur-like objects, things like that live inside the Earth somehow.
Squirrel. I saw a video today, or maybe it was yesterday. I saw a video yesterday. This guy, he had a theory, and I'm pretty sure he was serious. He sounded serious because he was asking his friends, and his friends just looked at him like he was insane. The guy's like, if the word dinosaur, comes from, the Greek words horrible lizard. Right? He's like, well, then there were either Greeks around when dinosaurs were here to name them, or dinosaurs were around during ancient Greece. And they're like, what? He's like, well, yeah, I mean, he named them. He called them horrible lizard. Yeah, he couldn't understand that, like, they were named way after.
Right, that they found bones and stuff, and were like, that's what they came out. That's pretty funny, though.
And it was like, he asked him, like, a legit, like, he was mad at the one guy got up and left. He was just tired of arguing with him. And, he got up and walked out on him. So, yeah, sorry, got a little sidetracked.
Yeah, that's good stuff, though.
So the hollow core theory, they refer to Admiral Byrd's alleged diary entries, that claim beyond the South Pole, going beyond the South Pole into a lush region, but the question is, maybe he went beyond the South Pole and came around the other side. That's a possibility.
Right.
So, and into a new area. So then we go into ancient hidden civilizations. Right.
That's another big one, that they think that there's like Atlantis type civilization that lived out there in Antarctica somehow, and they're super advanced in their science, and because they don't live on the surface, they live in a cave structure, that's why they're so advanced.
And that the continent was ice free at the time, and then it froze, and now everything's preserved. Right. So they believe that's why they're not showing a bunch of stuff, because
it's covered over.
It's all covered over with ice, and we'd be able to see it if they did the satellites and all that now. So they're trying to keep that on the DL. I mean, because once the ice came in, you've got all these organics and everything that froze, the animals and all the plants and everything. So they're trying to keep it hush hush. That's another one of the theories.
Yeah.
So.
And we got pyramids, which is it's a part of that one, right? They believe that there's pyramids in Antarctica. They believe that back when the continents were closer together, like in Pangea, right, that there was only rivers between the continents instead of oceans, and then you have your Mexican pyramids, you have your South American pyramids, you have your African pyramids, and then there's pyramids in Antarctica and in the North Pole. So they believe that those were markings that were on the planet, on the Earth, from a prior pre-flood civilization that had pyramid cultures, and then as the tectonics drifted away, now those pyramids are whole continents away from each other.
Right, and a lot of the mountains down there are like perfectly pyramid shaped, and we're talking. And if this is a true fact, they would be some of the largest pyramids.
Yeah,
because they are the size of the hills down there are so big, and one of the hills is actually perfectly pyramid shaped. One of the mountains down there is supposedly perfectly pyramid shaped, and that kind of goes along with that.
They claim that the wind shear is what happens.
Right.
Because a certain time of the year the wind blows straight line in a direction, then as the seasons change, that wind changes. Mm-hmm. So that's why the mountain is pyramid shaped, because it gets blasted this way, and then for 6 months it gets blasted from that way.
Right.
And then when a storm comes in, it hits it this way, so that it has a shape like a pyramid.
Right.
And a lot of the conspiracy theorists will only show you the picture of it when it supports their theory.
Right.
You know, they'll only show you a picture of it at this certain time of year, at a certain time of day, so that it looks like a pyramid. Because if they took the picture any other time, you'd be able to see that it doesn't line up exactly.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of that too. You know, shenanigans they get into.
Right. So extraterrestrial bases.
Yeah. That's another big thing. There's a hangar that shows up every so often on the TikTok where people show videos of the Google Earth where you can see this like what do they call it, like a dome shaped opening in the side of a mountain, and it looks like there's a UFO inside of it.
Right. And there is a lot of experimentation going on down there by by the different governments,
right.
And it's they're really secretive about what's going on down there.
Yeah.
And it's very controlled area as far as even access and we're talking about the photos and all that. But
right.
So I mean, there is a possibility that there could be an extraterrestrial base that they found down there under the ice.
Yeah.
Because you and I have had that conversation before. There could be bases under the water that we don't know about.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Because we can't get down far enough.
Yeah.
I know that we've talked before about how just in the last month and a half, they found 4 new species of octopus.
Right.
So, I mean, they still don't know what we all have here on Earth. You got to think about this. We've been doing the sciencey stuff, you know what I mean? Like for real science and biology and all that for years and years and years now. And we're still finding new species in the rainforest. We're still finding new species in the ocean.
Right.
So it's what else are we finding,
Yeah, things we don't even understand yet. It could be some advanced thing that isn't an extraterrestrial. Mm-hmm. It could be a cephalopod, like a octopus type species that is more advanced than anything we can understand. Yeah, and they live down there. They need that crushing pressure, just to stay alive.
Hold themselves together. Yeah.
Because if they came up into the lower, they would just discombobulate. Discorporate.
Because you've got those bigger...
Wouldn't the pressure...
Oh no, insert octopotamus here. Oh jeez. But the pressure would hold them together because, I mean, you've got some of those fish, those weird fish down there, that when they bring them up, they literally do gooify.
They just turn into discorporate, they call it, because they need that pressure to hold their atoms together. And once you expose it to no pressure, they just turn into goo. And the aliens, the way that their crafts work is they manipulate gravity.
Right.
So if they can manipulate gravity to fly, then who's to say they can't have a base where they manipulate gravity down there, where it doesn't...
Right.
The pressure, they can just turn the pressure off, basically.
Yeah. Yep. So another theory is that possibly this is the location of the lost city of Atlantis.
Yeah.
But that one's kind of all over the place because, everybody theorized Atlantis was here, Atlantis was there.
Right.
So...
That's one of the earliest, when you look at a book from the 50s or 40s, they talk about conspiracy theories. They didn't have the term back then, but they used to call it fringe science. And the Atlantis is always the first thing that they talk about. The Atlanteans and plebeians and the Pleiades and all of that. They're so that's been a conspiracy theory that's been out there for a long, long time.
Right. And then, of course, secret military base, which that's not even that's not even a question. That's not even a conspiracy because they do have military bases down there. So that's not even a conspiracy to be, thrown into the mix because, that's something that's been there.
And the thing that a lot of people don't understand about the science that goes on in Antarctica is that the United States isn't a part of the treaty in Antarctica. So we don't have any territory in Antarctica. Like, a whole third of it is Australia. And then everybody else has a little sliver of it. So if Americans are on a science team, then we're a part of like the French team, or we're a part of Spain's or Portugal's or Australia's team. The United States doesn't own any territory down there. So that's why all these other governments love it, because it's a place that they can set up all their little black ops stuff.
Right.
And the United States can't pry into their stuff because there's no overflight allowed.
Nice.
And you can't, a satellite can only take pictures during certain times of the day in Antarctica because of the way the ice crystals and the clouds and everything work. So if you didn't have access like the United States has Area 51 or S3 or S4 or any of the hidden bases that we use for all of our black ops stuff, they don't have that in their country. Their countries are old. Like in France, like everything. You couldn't have a hidden base because there's not a huge desert to hide stuff in.
Right.
So instead, they just buy or lease property from whoever in Antarctica, and then you can set up your own little skunkworks lab, and then do all of your shenanigans down there, and you don't have to worry about the United States coming prying into your stuff.
So then they believe that we have climate change cover up.
Right.
So climate change is a big thing. And they're thinking maybe they don't allow the flyovers because they're trying to hide the fact that it actually is warming up and there is climate change and everything is melting and, the permafrost is all melting up there. And so.
Well, we saw, was it 2 weeks ago now or 3 weeks ago, the big wave.
Oh, yeah.
That
it's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that came. Well, it's been going on though, over and over. Like every couple of days, there's another one of these. So supposedly, there's this little island off the coast of, in between Antarctica and Africa. I forget what the name of it is. I'll put a picture right there. But
place picture here.
It makes a 80-foot wave that goes to South Africa. It goes all the way up into Africa, this huge wave. And then there was a time when the conspiracy people were going back through the images of that, and you can see hurricanes, like a zipper of hurricanes coming off of this island. And the little stacked up hurricanes go across the coastline, and they smash into each other and make one big hurricane, and then hurricane season starts. So one of the conspiracy theories about that is that there's some sort of alien machine that has been turned on accidentally or on purpose. You never know.
Right.
And then that is using some kind of
like weather control device or
some sort of resonance that when it catches a storm at exactly the right angle, it just amplifies it into the stratosphere and turns that little storm into a big hurricane. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
they believe they're frozen alien bodies. It kind of goes with the extraterrestrial base.
They believe there's a crash site down there. That's what the movie the Thing was based on. That, because every so often when the climate is perfect down there, the permafrost melts because the way the ice pack works down there. There's like a level of ice that's almost like concrete. It's so thick, and then it snows on top of that, and then that's like a powdery snow. And then every so often the light, the heat and the light and everything will get just in tune and get rid of all of that mushy snow. And when it does, there's a disc-shaped object out there that you can see. And the funniest thing about it is that I think it's in Sweden's section. So if you wanted to look, it's in one of those Jürgen Flurgen countries name because it has like a 17 consonant name. But anyway.
Right.
They won't let anyone fly during that calm period because they say that there's something that you're not allowed to look at.
Angie sent you corn to the Save a Buck Foundation, Bob.
Yay!
Sing the corn song.
Hooray! It's corn. It's a big lump with knobs. It has the juice. Yay.
Appreciate the Corn to the Save a Butt Foundation.
Right.
And then our last one is Operation High Jump, which we have discussed before.
Right. Yeah, we did.
So, it's a kind of an alien UFO base where,
Yeah. Well, Admiral Byrd went down there to train personnel in how to live in a cold environment. And then the conspiracy theory is that he was attacked by hostile UFOs, and they had to flee. But in his own journals, he claims that it was storms. So you know how people are. What do we get?
32.
Yay!
So, yep. I just want to see how long we've been going on the podcast. Obviously we went about 10 minutes, cutting a little short tonight. It's kind of a last minute podcast because of today. And it's kind of funny that it worked out that way. Is like I end up having to do it this evening, and then you end up having to work late.
Right.
But this is a podcast, and a later podcast than we normally do. But take a look. Look, you're going to have to look at stuff from other countries. So you're going to have to get out there and really search.
Yeah.
To find this good information that's out there.
It's out there though.
It is out there.
This isn't like deep web stuff that you have to look at. This is all your regular like bulletin board type conspiracy theory stuff from back in the day. Like it's on the surface of conspiracies.
So, and then we encourage you guys, grab ChatGPT, because you can tell ChatGPT, hey, find me this, hey, find me that. And it will come up, it will show you that information. It will dig that information out for you. It makes searching for stuff a whole lot easier. It makes our prep for the podcast a ton easier. I mean, AIs are the way to go as far as, searching for stuff on the internet.
Or even just explaining the stuff to you.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Matrix theory, the dead internet theory and the Matrix and all that stuff, that's how I did that research. I used to ask ChatGPT, and I'm like, explain the dead internet theory to me, and it just wrote a whole paragraph explaining it. And I'm like, wow, explain that at a 3rd grade level.
Right, exactly. And you can learn, you could literally anything. You could say, hey, explain string theory to me. Yeah. And it will literally, and then if you see something and you want to tweak it a little bit, you can just type in, hey, do this, do that to the information you just gave me and tweak it a little bit. In fact, that's kind of what Bob and I did with the Antarctica stuff. We pulled the Antarctica stuff up and just said, hey, give us more information. Give us another couple of paragraphs on each thing. And, we made Siri come on. But yeah, we can make, you can get that information and use ChatGPT as a great way to get more information than what we give you guys. Because like we say, we like to dip our toe in. We want you guys to jump in the pool so you can form your own conclusion on what's going on out there.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll find like the surface of a topic, and you'll watch a YouTube video, and it's by some guy who has 18 PhDs, and he uses a PhD for a placemat, in his house. He's just a super genius. And you think, I listened to that for an hour and a half and have no idea what he was talking about. You can go to ChatGPT and say, explain like quantum entanglement theory at 10th grade level. And give me like 6 paragraphs about blah blah blah, and it'll write that at a lower level so that you can. I'm not saying that people are dummies, but it's easier to comprehend when you're not
not
listen
a physicist.
to peer reviewed super scientists who take for granted that you're a genius like they are.
Yeah.
When you can dumb it down a little bit, then it makes more sense to you.
Right. So yeah, definitely use that to look into the things that we always bring up for you guys to take a look at. You'd be amazed the information you can find.
Yeah. I was just warning you that sometimes the
Matrix
sensors,
works against you.
Yeah, they don't want you to know about a thing. So if you get too close, if you're digging too deep into the facts are too close to the truth on a conspiracy theory, the ChatGPT will try to throw you off the scent. It'll tell you something outlandish. So you have to kind of check and double check what it says. You know, I would go to Wikipedia and look up too. Like if it gives you a thing and says like, you know, something that you think's outlandish, you're like, oh, okay. Well, let me Google that little part of it and see, and you're like, oh no, it was off. So it's the ChatGPT trying to intentionally throw you off of the trail, because a lot of that processing comes from Microsoft. So
speaking of, you say you sat and you watched a scientist.
Yeah.
I found this week that if you go into the settings of TikTok and you go into your video settings, you can turn on the STEM setting. And you can get the math and the science and all that. It comes up as a separate category. You know how you have followers and then like, it'll be a separate STEM category. And I've sat and watched stuff on like Voyager and like pictures of the galaxy, and you know, so there's, if you go into, and it's also where you can reset your feed. If you kind of went down a rabbit hole one day and now your feed's thick with stuff that you don't want to see anymore, you can reset your feed in that same setting. It's under, you know, you got to go into your options for your account, and then it's under video preferences or content preferences, something like that, and you can turn that STEM setting on. You know, everybody complains that TikTok's not but a bunch of people dancing, but let me tell you, after I found that STEM setting, I have found some great information. Like we talked before about the pale blue dot, Voyager turning around, taking the picture back to Earth. You know, I found out that was that, and I used that in the trivia Thursday night. You know, I said, hey, I'll give this, we had an extra prize. I said, I'll give this if somebody can guess closest to how many pixels did the pale blue dot take up. When Voyager turned around and took the picture, it was 0.12 pixels. So the guy that guessed 1 pixel, he won the prize. But yeah, there's a lot of great information. There's pictures of like the deepest picture that we've ever taken now had like 52,000 galaxies on the picture.
Wow.
Like they're like every point of light on here is a galaxy.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, think about that, guys. You know, a galaxy is hundreds of thousands of stars.
Yeah.
And then 52 of those. I mean,
crazy. Full up with life.
Yeah, you know, and then you think about how insignificant we are.
Right.
When you really wrap your brain around that, you know, and our daily lives, the things that we freak out about in our daily lives, you know what I mean? Yeah. That don't mean a nugget of nothing, you know, in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Or you see, like, recently I was watching NASA has like a thing where they show like the satellite images, like the web images for kids, and just nonchalantly they were like, and here's what it looks like when two galaxies smash together, and then you know all of the planets and the both of the suns become a binary star system, and then it basically I'm like, what?
Did I tell you about hypervelocity stars?
You've just seen two galaxies smash into each other and destroy every single planet.
So I've got the reverse for you. A binary star system, right? Two stars spinning, comes in contact with a black hole, which breaks apart their gravitational pull on each other, which then slingshots one of the stars out into the universe at hypervelocity. So think about that. A star traveling at hypervelocity through the galaxy, you know, or through the universe, because it was torn apart by a black hole in a binary system. I mean, did you imagine the destruction and devastation that could cause? Like,
well, that's what I'm talking about. Like little kids are just sitting there and they're like, "Oh, planets just smashed together." I'm like, a planet smashed into another planet. Like, can you imagine the kind of bad day you'd be having if you're just looking out into space and you can see another planet coming at you?
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do at all you can do. Nothing at all you can do.
I'd become very flexible and I'd tuck my head down and kiss my own butt goodbye, you know.
Like you're just looking out in space and every day the sun goes down and you can just see that other planet like right there.
Yep, getting closer and closer.
Oh, I was so at how nonchalant all these kids were in the lecture.
Right.
They're just like, oh, and what happens when they get smashed? Oh, it just turns into another planet. Like, what about the people who lived on the first planet? What are you talking about?
And they make it like it's
an entire planet and turned it into basically gravel. And then that gravel congealed into a new planet. These little kids are like, oh, it just turned into a new planet.
Yeah, you don't understand. I mean, like...
It's not like they moved to a new house. It obliterated everything they know.
But absolutely, I know that, a few people that I've talked to this week turned on that STEM setting. And I recommend you turn it on because there's some really cool stuff.
It shows up
there.
At the top.
Does it? Yeah, it says STEM at the top, then yours is on. But guys, yeah, if you don't have that STEM setting turned on, absolutely turn it on. Like on your TikTok, for you guys watching us on YouTube, turn that setting on. Your mind will just, it'll expand and be blown at the same time. I mean, it'll fill with knowledge to the point it's coming out of your skull.
Right.
So it is absolutely an awesome thing. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Bob?
No, that's all.
That's it. Sorry, we picked up the last squirrel at the end there. Got sidetracked. Once again, thank you guys for helping out this weekend, for promoting me this weekend, and thank you for showing up this weekend and helping me.
It was fun.
And everybody liked the Plinko.
Yeah.
Where was the Plinko?
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and shout out T-Turtle, their local T-shirt company.
Yeah.
For the fun. This is Boo Sheet T-shirt. Picked that up this weekend. And if you want to get a hold of Bob or I, our email addresses are at the end of the video. Yep. Make sure you watch through that. Don't forget to watch through the end of the video to catch the Easter eggs that Bob's always putting at the ends. And all his social medias are the Real Veritas Project and
or RS
Curtis on everything. And mine's All Investigator Todd. And thank you guys for joining us on our Antarctica podcast. And we will catch you next week. And remember,
stay curious
and find the truth. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
All right.